Hi, Em.
Hi, Jen. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
You know what? It's very cold here today, but I'm doing fine.
Yeah,
You know,
feels like winter.
you look very tan compared to
It's fake. It's obviously
you
fake.
really keep a summer glow in the winter
Oh
time.
yeah, like if people are like, "Wow, your face is a different color than the rest of your body." I'm like, "Yes, it is."
That is so early 2000s of you.
Thank you so much. Like,
Do you have dream
look at the difference.
do you have dream matte mousse on your face?
No.
Clogging up your pores for every
No,
second it
I
takes?
don't. I use the Tan Lux drops.
The tan
And I
Lex
just go
drops.
crazy because you know what? You only live once.
And that's what you're going to do with it. The YOLO is not about like bungee jumping or
Nope.
saying what you need. It's like, I'll
It's
just use self tanner.
in the winter and I will only use it on my face and my neck. And if anyone says anything, I'll say, "Yeah, this bitch is fake." Okay? And I'm not trying to hide it.
I just can't even put in the effort to remember to put it on my
It's like when
face.
you put moisturizer on. I just do it when I put my moisturizer on. Listen, this episode's not sponsored by Tan Lux, but you're welcome.
Would you die if they sponsored us? You would lose your
Maybe
minds.
they would give me the body tan drops so I could really do the whole
Maybe
thing.
they'll just feel bad for you and be like, oh, this girl really is not
This poor
matching well.
I just, it's the only thing that gets me through the winter is a fake tan on my face.
I wonder if people who don't live in Pennsylvania, live in warm places, listen to this podcast and they're like, why are they choosing to live there? And for that, we say, nah.
We're not sure. We ask ourselves this question every winter. I'm sure we've said it on this podcast so many times. Family lives
I
here. I don't
I
fucking
love,
know.
you know what I love?
But
I love to not be able to breathe when I go outside.
me too. It's my favorite. I
I
really,
I also love not being able to feel my toes
yeah.
just when taking my dog out to pee.
I love having to basically wear a sleeping bag to go outside. That's one of my favorites.
My preferred way to start the day is being so cold that there is pee coming out of my steam.
Yeah, there's steam coming out of your pee. Just wanted to clarify because that would be a magic trick.
I've got the magic in me everywhere.
Beautiful. It's beautiful.
Okay, we do have a listener question though.
Believe it
Apparently,
or
this
not.
has to do with my piss.
Oh, wow. This is a good one, too. This really fits. When you travel to a different state or country, do you make an itinerary in advance or do you arrive to your destination with absolutely no itinerary and make it up as you go? I'm going to let you guess which one I do.
Actually, here's the craziest part. We neither of us plan, but that's only because typically I travel with my husband and he is a super planner. So I'm just like, nah. He's so type A that I don't have to do anything.
You're like a
He's the best at traveling.
passenger
But when you and
princess.
I travel together, it's horrible.
And you know what's funny is the people that I typically travel with aren't planners. My husband's not a planner. Jamie's not a planner.
Yeah.
Like I go to places with people who aren't planners. And so we go there and we're both like, what?
But you know what? Now you can just go to ChatGPT and say, like, make me a travel
That's what I'm saying.
itinerary.
Also, I feel like as an adult, your whole life is planned out.
Mm.
And when I'm going on vacation, I don't want a goddamn plan.
I think that's a beautiful way to think about it.
I want to be in the moment. I want to do things as they come. I want to be inspired. There are things that I'm like, I probably should plan things a little
Well,
more.
okay, here's the only thing I'll plan when I travel is that I love food. And so if there is a good restaurant, like I will Google like the best restaurants in New Orleans.
Right.
And like those are the ones I like. You know what I mean? So like that is actually something I'll check out
Yeah. No, not me.
because I like some good food.
That makes sense. And see, that's a good thing. You get dinner reservations somewhere. Also, you going to New Orleans?
No, but I was trying to think of the last place that I actually Googled that for, and it was New
Right.
Orleans.
Right.
Weirdly, I've been to New Orleans like 10 times in the last like so many years. I don't know why.
What?
You realize like whenever I travel for some reason, it ends up being in New Orleans
I don't know if I know that. I think you're just like secretly going to New Orleans. Who
all the
knew?
time.
Wow. Do you like love Mardi Gras?
I've never been during Mardi Gras.
Oh my God, you've
I've
got to
never been to
time.
New Orleans. I've only been in the fall and the spring after
You
Mardi
know
Gras.
what? It's because you haven't been planning.
But I've been to New Orleans 5 times. And yet, like, where do I go? No, but this summer I really want to go to Portland, Maine, which I haven't been, and everyone says it's the best place in the whole world.
I hear it's really beautiful there. Do you
Do you
think
want
you'll
to go
drive?
together?
Yeah, let's go.
Do I think I'll drive? Is that the only option? I've never Googled it. Is that how I get there? Where's Maine?
There's definitely other options.
Okay, wait. Can I tell you something really embarrassing?
Of course, please.
It's important for everyone to know that I am smart in a lot of ways, but I'm also not smart in a lot of ways. And so, if you ever watch Pluribus, it's Pluribus. I don't know how to say the word. It's so fucking good on Apple TV. I keep trying to get Jen to like it. I really think you would like it. But there's a scene where a guy is driving from Paraguay and is trying to get to New Mexico. And I said to my husband, I was like, but how's he going to get there? Like, how's he going to get on a boat? And my husband looks at me and he was like, Emily, South America and North America are connected.
Yeah.
And for
Yeah.
some reason, I thought that there was just like a little bit.
Through Central America.
Yeah. I
So
just,
when
I,
I,
I
I'm
miss
I'm right there with you. When I go to
East.
Quizzo and it's geography time,
That is such an American educational system flaw.
yes, yes,
Like, don't you feel like Americans suck at knowing about anything? We
yes.
only care about America. Like, that's like
Yeah.
all they teach you in school with American
God,
education.
it pains my soul. Literally pains my soul.
It's so bad. We should probably do the episode.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Today's episode is something that we got a ton of questions about because it's a big conundrum.
A lot of people didn't disagree with that. A lot of people did not agree with this.
Right. So what we want to hone in on today is that ready is not a feeling. A lot of the time, people are waiting to feel ready in order to make a big decision, in order to dive into something, in order to do something uncomfortable. You're waiting until you reach this feeling of ready. And the thing that we want to say to you is that ready is not a feeling.
And
And
quite a few people wrote it and said ready is a feeling. But just so you know, it's not a feeling, right? Like the feeling you're feeling is excited or content or you know what I mean? Like those are
or
feeling words
anxious.
or anxious. Those are feeling words, right? Ready is not an actual feeling.
This is like in couples therapy when you'll be talking, to the couple and you'll say to the one partner, like, how did that feel for you?
And they
They're like,
immediately say, wait,
I feel like they're being a dick. And
yeah,
I'm like, listen, they're
not a
being a
feeling.
dick is not a feeling. I understand.
I feel
And
like
they're being a dick is not a feeling.
I feel like I'm done inviting his mom to Christmas. Well, that's fine.
However,
That's not a
also not
feeling.
a feeling. We should make a feelings chart about non-feelings. That would be
Non-feeling,
funny.
non-feeling chart. That's actually a very good idea.
Non-feeling chart. We're
We'll
gonna do
never
that.
do it.
I'm gonna do it right after this.
Just to
Give me,
prove me wrong.
just to prove you wrong out of spite.
So, okay. So we want to talk about this more because so many of us are waiting for the feeling of ready, but you don't always have this, especially if you're someone who has anxiety or has, childhood trauma that gave you a lot of doubt. If you had highly critical parents, or if you were, let's say you were highly predafied from a young age when you really shouldn't have been, you might have a lot of distrust of self.
Mm.
And that's going to make this idea. We'll have people come in and they say, like, how do I know when I'm ready? I'm like, well, you don't. Right? Like you have this idea that like if I feel ready, that means nothing bad's going to happen. Well, that's simply not true.
Hmm. And I think the key is that the goal isn't to feel ready. The goal is to feel willing. For you to be willing to do something.
Yeah.
People often wait to say, I'm 100% certain on this. In order to make this decision, I have to be 100% certain. Oftentimes, when decisions are made, you're not 100% certain. Have you ever been 100% certain
I
on a
was literally,
decision you
I
made?
was, I was just about to be like, I don't know if I've ever been 100%
Right.
certain, ever.
Ever.
Unless you want to know, you know what, actually, when there's times where I'm like 100% certain, when I really don't want to do something.
Yeah.
Right. So if I'm really like, I'm just not going to do that, those are times that I feel like very secure in my decision and very sure about stuff. But usually when it's doing something, then I'm doubtful. If it's not doing something,
Not doing something, I don't know if I'm ever, actually, but maybe. There are times when I would say I'm more 100% certain when I choose not to do something than when I choose to do
well, like if
something.
you're like, I'm not going to go to this party,
Right.
aren't you just like
100% certain.
thrilled? Just
Yes.
thrilled to not go.
Yeah, but I think that that makes sense because, what we're talking about is making some sort of movement towards
Yeah.
something. It's way easier to stay in place and not do something, right? And this idea of being ready, this idea of being 100% certain, speaks to actually making some movement away from where you are, making a decision, choosing something.
Mm-hmm.
And because doing something different, making a change is uncomfortable, we oftentimes wait for this feeling so that we can make some sort of movement. And what happens is when we're waiting for this feeling, we end up feeling stuck because we're like, well, why isn't this feeling coming? Why don't I feel 100% certain? I'm going to go through every single possibility. I'm going to mull over different questions to try to get to this feeling of ready.
Mm,
And if you're someone who's doing that and you end up in decision paralysis and you never get to this feeling of ready, this episode is for you.
yeah. So somebody said, so if ready isn't a feeling, what's our marker or guide to making big decisions? Oh God, you're gonna have to actually listen to yourself.
Oof.
God forbid. This is the worst thing no one wants to hear. I love it. I love that we want a marker or a guide to make big
Yeah.
decisions, because then it's like, oh, well, I follow this thing. So then I don't have to like take, you know what I mean? Like the loss or the win if it happens, right? Well, the funny part is that like what it means is you're gonna have to actually try to quiet everything down and listen to yourself.
Yes.
We want external stimuli to tell us, because then we feel less pressure to make a decision. And if I have someone else telling me what to do, then it must be right.
Right. And for you to be able to listen to yourself means that the decision that you're going to make is in alignment with your values, right? So when we ask other people for validation or we ask them for, what would you do in this situation? What you're asking is this decision in alignment with this person's values? This decision isn't necessarily going to affect them, it's going to affect you. And so the answer that you might be getting from someone else might be in alignment with their values, not your values.
Mm-hmm. Mm,
And so the outcome that you get when you're asking other people might be a result of what they think is important, not what you think is important. And
right.
go ahead, go
No,
ahead.
please finish. Sorry, I thought you were
I
done.
was just going to say, so for you to think about making a decision that is in alignment with your values and allows you to tolerate making some sort of movement or having some sort of uncertainty about what comes next. That's your marker.
Mm. Well, so right. So an example of sort of what you're saying is, let's say I'm thinking about ending my relationship,
Right.
and I go to a friend who's divorced because I want to understand what it's like. And they say to me, oh, it's the best they have ever done. It's so great. You should definitely do it. If you're unhappy, leave. It's so much better. And then you go to a friend who went through a really hard time with their partner and they say, stay. Work it out. It was the best thing you ever did. We're so much stronger now. Neither of those two people are in your relationship. And so we go around to other people and get their advice, get their suggestions. And I'm not saying that's bad. That's often really helpful. It gives them some guidance. But then when it comes time to make our decision, we have to then try to quiet that out.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of like a Google search where, like, depending on what we write in, it like gives us, I mean, ChatGPT loves this. It loves being like, you're absolutely right. If you're unhappy in your relationship, you should leave.
Right. Right. And it's all about being a conscious consumer of information. When you're asking when you're asking friends about their advice, being a conscious consumer by thinking about, well, they're giving me this advice from their perspective. They went through this divorce and it was amazing for them. It really worked out for them. And so they're coming from that perspective. So for I think getting the support can be really important, but also for you to be in tune with yourself while you're doing that and say, I'm going to be a conscious consumer of this information and understand that this is coming from their perspective and I need to make a decision that's right for me.
Um, what should we look for slash feel when making decisions to help us move forward? So we had an episode a few weeks ago about anxiety versus intuition.
Yeah.
Right. So like go back and listen to that episode and it
Yes.
could be help you in a situation like this. But really, right, like the feelings that I'm feeling, can we go a little deeper with those and tell me more? What is the anxiety saying to us? The anxiety is saying, well, if I leave this relationship, then I'll be single the rest of my life and I'll never be with someone ever again. Okay, well, let's say that's true. What if you were?
What would that look like? Take yourself into it.
Exactly. If I was to stay in this relationship, what if nothing ever changed? Does this relationship still work for me?
Mm.
Nothing ever changes. Could I still make this work? Okay. There's information there. So, what's the information that our feelings are giving us?
Mm. With anxiety too, right? When we're making a big decision and we're feeling anxious about something, we tend to stay on the top layer of it to say, okay, well, what if I leave and I'll be single for the rest of my life and there, period. What we're saying, which feels counterintuitive when you're feeling anxious, is taking yourself into the anxiety, take yourself all the way through it. Okay, if I am single, what does that look like? How will I work through that? What will that be like for me? Take yourself into it because the reaction that your body is saying to you is that, like, if this happens, you're going to die. When you take yourself into it, you get to the end of it, chances are you're not going to die. Take yourself into the anxiety, go all the way through it.
Yeah. Someone said ready is a feeling for me, and forcing myself to do something before I'm ready doesn't feel good. That's fine. Ready still isn't a feeling, but
It's on
I'm
our
sorry.
non-feeling chart.
On our non-feeling chart, we'll make sure we'll put ready on there. What we're just saying is literally not a feeling. But what this person is saying is, I know when I'm ready. That's great.
Right.
You don't have to do stuff before you're not ready.
Mm-hmm.
But for some folks that never get there, you can't live your life never making a decision. And I think that sometimes that avoidance makes us to like complete what we say, like homeostasis. So I don't have to actually make anything. I don't have to actually change anything. If I just keep saying, I'm not ready, I'm not ready, I'm not ready. We hear this all the time in couples therapy. Couples going through the same thing over again. And finally I say to them, well, why do you stay? What's working? And so often partner will say, well, we're not ready to give up. What would ready look like? What does that mean? Is it ever going to feel that way? Or is it that we don't really want to pull the trigger on this?
Mm.
And that's okay too. I'm not saying you have to do anything, but I think it's important to know.
Yeah. You know what I think about when I think about being ready? Almost like diving into water, like cold water. Like, yeah, you're like ready
Like
for
when we did that cold plunge.
exactly. Like
I didn't
something
like that.
Right, right. I didn't like it either. That's the point, is that you're waiting. There, I wasn't going to get to a point with that cold plunge
No.
where I'm like, I'm ready to do this. Like, I can't wait. I'm 100% certain that I want to jump into this cold fucking water. Instead, you just have to do it. You
Yeah.
know it's going to happen. The end result is still the same. You get in the water, it's cold, you're getting out of the water.
Yeah.
Where we were waiting, right, to feel
Yeah.
ready. And the fact of the matter is, we never felt ready.
No.
We just had to push ourselves to do it. Is that going to be the case? Is it going to be that straightforward in every situation? Absolutely not. But that's the feeling I get when I'm waiting to make a decision that I know is right, but I'm not ready. It doesn't feel like I'm ready. It's thinking about it for me, it's having hard conversations feels like that, right? Where I'm like, okay, I can prep in my head all I want. Eventually, I just have to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's one that comes up. Um, Doing any sort of like new social activity feels that way for me.
Mm.
Or I'm just like, okay, I just got to do it. It ends up being fine. I
Yeah.
just got to do it.
Oh, so that's an interesting idea, right? So looking at the history of something,
Yes.
historically, I do enjoy this when I do it,
Right.
right? Historically, I do end up having a great time. It ends up being a really great decision. You were like that last week. You're like, did we have to go into the office? What if
Right.
it was just Zoom? And then we went into the office, and how lovely was it? It
And it was great.
was so lovely, right? So can I look at the history here
Yes.
to understand myself? Once again, this goes back to knowing ourselves makes us grow ourselves.
Whoa.
Uh, somebody said, I'm 31 and I still don't feel grown up. How do I feel more ready to make big decisions?
Same.
I mean, I'm looking at the barrel of 40 with two kids. I don't fuck if I know. When do you start to feel more grown up?
It's a really good question.
So the question is how to feel more ready to make big decisions. I guess the question would be like, what are the big decisions you're trying to make? There are some big decisions that are huge, right? Buying a house. I got to commit to a mortgage. I got to make some financial decisions, opening it. You know what I mean? Like, okay, do I want to move somewhere? So what I would sort of say is like, those are situations like, can I get expert advice?
Hmm.
Right? Can I afford, let's say if we're talking about like making, like, there's certain decisions we can make that are more data based or more fact based, right?
Hmm.
Is this a good mortgage for me to get? Is this a good interest rate? Something like that. Okay, well, you can talk to professionals about that who might give you some really, really advice. Well, actually, based on your income, this is going to be too much monthly payment. Great.
Right.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that really helpful information. Not as helpful for someone just saying, like, totally buy the house so that it gets equity and do all this stuff, but like, because you should, but like, they don't know anything about your financial situation.
Yeah. I also think, like, what were your expectations on how you would feel at, how old's this person? Did they say 31?
31.
How you would feel at 31 when you were making the decisions that you're making? Because me, just personally, I really expected that when I was in my 30s, I was going to feel sure about my decisions and I was going to feel like an adult and I was going to be making these adult decisions. And listen, I am making adult decisions because that's what happens when you're an adult. But do I feel like an adult?
What
Sometimes.
does that feel like? That once again,
What
being
does
an
that,
adult,
not a
not a feeling.
feeling? Put that on the non-feeling chart.
Put that on the non feeling. So, I mean, okay, but when I was 22, the idea of 30 felt huge.
Yeah,
Now, even the idea of 40 doesn't feel huge, but 50 feels like maybe I'll really get it together by then.
hopefully. Let's hope. And listen, maybe we won't. Maybe we'll
Yeah.
never
I
get
think
to
the
that point.
here's what I think. I think here's what happens with each decade. I just think you give less fucks.
Yeah. Well, I also think there's something to be said about experience.
Oh, totally.
The more years you live, the more things you're experiencing, the more things you're living through. And what I mean when I say that is, when you're not, before you're living through these big decisions that you're making, you can ruminate about them and think about them and not have history to back up when I make a big decision, it will be okay.
Mm.
once you get into those later years, you can think about all the decisions that you've made in your life and the fact that you've lived to that age and gotten through it. So there's a lot more data that you get as you get older about I have made all of these big decisions and it has led me here. Some have worked out, some have not worked out, but I'm still alive.
Yeah.
I've still made it through. And so I think the giving less fucks part as you get older is also knowing that like it's all going to be okay.
Yeah.
You're going to get through it. Maybe it's not all okay, but you're going to
That's
get
what I was
through
gonna
it.
say.
Side
Like,
eye Cyrus.
right, my face was like, is it gonna be okay? Like sometimes the decision like shit ends up like really bad.
Yeah.
But the question is like, you're gonna survive it.
That is more important that you're going to survive. You're going to get through it. And I think even in getting through those hard things, you're building a trust within yourself.
Yeah.
And that trust is coming from not that you've made the right decision, it's coming from no matter what decision I have made, I've survived.
Yeah. Can you talk about regret and decision making? The fear of making the wrong choice is so paralyzing for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
What happens if you make the wrong choice? What are you so worried about? What's so paralyzing? What is that like? What's the fear of that paralyzation? Has that happened before?
Mm. And what do you feel that means about you? If you make a decision that you end up regretting, what meaning are you making of that?
Yeah. I mean, I make mistakes all day, every day.
Me too.
And what I have learned from most of my mistakes is most of them I can handle or correct.
Mm.
Right? I send out an email with the wrong name or some shit. You know what I mean? Like one of the
Mhm.
things that I would do. Hey, I'm really sorry, I made a mistake there.
Mhm.
Thanks for waiting here with me. Thanks for being so chill about that, right? Like for the most part, you can do something wrong and it usually doesn't ruin your fucking life.
Mhm.
Now, of course, we're talking about a bigger situation. You drink and drive and you hurt someone. So really big fucking regret you're going to have.
Yeah.
And so the question is, what could the outcome be? It seems like it's not a big deal. And then something really bad happens. For the most part, I fuck something up in a meeting. We're going to survive.
Right.
I drink and drive. It's a different conversation.
Right.
And so we think that's the sort of things we have to think about. Does this decision really matter? If I was to fuck this up, what would really happen?
And sometimes regret is not necessarily meaning that, okay, I made the wrong decision. Sometimes it's also, okay, maybe I'm grieving the decision I didn't make. And that's okay. That can come with any decision.
Mm,
And so also understanding that that can be part of the process of
mm.
when I make one decision, I am also grieving the road less traveled. And that's part of the process.
I have that a little bit. You know, what's funny is I have a good example of this, which is, my daughters are 6.5 years apart.
Yes.
When I had my new baby, my oldest daughter did not do well. I've talked about this before. I want you to imagine how bad it could have been, and then times that by 3,000. And that's what my experience was. And I had so much regrets and not right. So, like, I had 4 miscarriages before, and then I did IVF, but I had a lot of regret that I didn't start IVF sooner
Mm.
and have a smaller age gap because I think it would have been better for my older child. And like, so I'll have this, and it'll come up sometimes that I'm like, wow, like if I had been able to get myself to the place to do that, this would have been better for my kid, right? The
Mm.
reality was I needed that space. I needed all those years
Yeah.
to go through what I went through. And if this is the first trauma my daughter has in her life, well, it's pretty fucking good.
Right. Right.
Your first trauma is you got a sibling, you're going to be okay, right?
Right.
People go through way worse shit.
Yeah.
But I can understand that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a part of me that has a little bit of regret and grief for that, but it's going to be okay.
You also, it sounds like, put it in context when you start to think about that, right? Like, I needed that time. What would it have been like if I
Yeah.
had a baby earlier, was I in the space? You know, so it made me think of the idea of grass is always greener.
Oh yeah.
That when we think of someone else's grass, we aren't putting it in real life context.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I hear this all the time, especially when it comes to like people switching jobs.
Yes.
Right. Like,
Yes.
oh, like it's not what, but like sometimes the grass is not always greener and you don't know, right? It's like the devil I know versus the devil I don't.
Right. Actually,
Who's to say?
I overheard. Do you ever overhear conversations?
Oh, it's my favorite. Yeah. What'd you hear? Tell me the tea that has nothing to do with anything.
I was sitting in a coffee shop listening to these girls talk about how they like switch jobs and they were like, oh, I thought it was going to be different, but like this is the same thing and like always ends up being the same thing, blah, blah, blah. And in my head, you know, like so badly. Sometimes I just want to chime in, which would be so
What would
inappropriate.
you have said?
I don't know. They were talking about therapy at one point, and I was going to be
Oh,
like,
that
if you need a therapist, but I wouldn't want to be as creepy as I
because what
feel
would
like
you
I am
say?
inside.
Like you're like, yeah, man, it
Like
is
one girl
hard.
had moved from a different place and like
Jesus,
needed
you're
a new. I was right next to them. It's I can't help it. ADHD. I tried to put headphones in.
the one girl's great aunt Susie. I mean, you're really going deep with this eavesdropping.
Always. I can't help it. I'm sorry. If you're next to a group of people and you're by yourself, like doing work, tell me you're not listening to that entire conversation.
Bro, I am so ADHD. Not only am I not listening to that conversation, I'm not listening to my own conversation in my head. And
Wow.
I'm thinking about what's happening 3 Tuesdays from now. Or like, wow, I cannot believe that Central America is connected to North America. That's some crazy shit. I am not only am I not present with myself, I'm
Oh,
not present with them. I'm not present in
I
this
am.
reality.
See, I'm
I'm I'm
somewhere
not
else.
here.
See, I am locked into other people's conversations.
I'm not even on this fucking planet,
Like
man.
I'm so locked in that I'm like, oh, I'm basically a part of the conversation. I'm like, oh,
In
they're
your head.
asking me. They're asking me. Here's how I would respond to that. Like if I ever hear two friends like giving each other advice, oh, it's my favorite. Wish I could
I'm not
chime
hearing
in.
anything. I'm so deep in this noggin,
Wow.
you know?
Yeah, no, not me. I am like if I'm having a conversation, I can hear a conversation over here and I can hear a conversation over. I think that I don't know what's different about our ADHD, but I am like I can hear 8 conversations at once. Wow. Somewhere else.
Different planet. Okay. We're gonna run out of time. Wait, well,
Oh,
we're gonna do one more. Dealer's choice.
dealer's choice. Okay. Am I the dealer?
I think so. We've
You
still
never
never figured
know.
out what
You
that phrase
never
means.
know. Um, how do I tell myself if I'm actually not ready or I'm just scared? Both things can be true.
Yeah.
And I love this saying, and I honestly say it to myself all the time, is that just do it scared.
Yeah.
Because I am someone who is likely to stay and not move out of my comfort zone
Mm-hmm.
because of anxiety. And so, if you're someone who tends to not make movement because of anxiety, building up tolerance to doing something scared
Mm-hmm.
is a really important skill.
Where the difference between you and I is that because I'm such a quick processor and my anxiety makes me do movements, I'm the person who acts too quickly.
Right.
Right. So, like, if we were both standing on the edge of the pool, you might wait and wait and wait. And I'm
You're
like, I just got to fucking,
you just
I'm
go,
jumping in, because I'm like, I don't want to think about it. I just want to do it. And both of those can go to an extreme.
yes.
There is not one that's better than the other.
So, for you to know for yourself,
Yeah.
where do you fall on that spectrum? If you're the person who's writing this, my guess is you probably tend to stay in one place.
Yes, most
You
likely.
tend to not make movement. And so it is going to help you to practice doing things scared. It will only help you because when you overthink and you ruminate and you wait to feel this feeling of ready, you will watch years of your life go by with no movement.
Mm-hmm.
And to be stuck in one place, to never make any movement, and to look back at your life and be like, wow, I was scared about all these things and I never made a decision. What would that be like for you?
Yeah. Dear Em and Jen,
Let's do it.
every year I get hit with intense birthday blues. Instead of feeling celebrated or excited, I end up anxious, sad, and weirdly guilty. Guilty for not wanting to celebrate and anxious that I haven't accomplished enough or I feel like I'm running out of time. I dread the attention. I overthink everything. And then I feel bad for not being more grateful. Is this normal? And more importantly, how do I make my birthday feel less like a chore and more like a day I can actually enjoy? I have this.
A lot of people do.
Yeah, man, I have this. I hate my birthday.
Yeah.
I'm like, please, everyone forget it. Let's do nothing.
Do you want to speak to that for yourself?
Well, I think the thing that I do for myself is one of the things I do typically is I make a decision of what I want to do on that day. My birthday's in the end of September. Usually it's really beautiful at this time of year here. So usually like the past 2 years, I have had a really small few people that we go and get some coffee and then we go to a barn sale or we go thrift shopping or something. That's something that makes me happy. And also it's not like I don't feel like it's like all this attention on me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go do this thing. If you want to roll in, you roll in. But also I'm happy doing these things by myself, but also I love doing things by myself. I'd prefer it.
Yeah.
So I think for me, your birthday doesn't have to be about other people.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's what so much of the pressure is like it's like pleasing other people or other people want you to be happy about this. It's just not how I feel. So for me, I make it feel less like a chore because I make it not a chore.
Right. You
It's
make
for me.
you make it about you. And I
Yeah.
also
With
like,
with just me. That like, the
yeah,
goal is just
not for
me
like
and
other
me,
people to make it about you.
me, baby.
Right. It's like a day for you.
Totally.
That is exactly what I do on my birthday too. I'm like, this is the one day I'm gonna get a facial out of the year. Definitely gonna help me if I only get it one time.
My skin's gonna be so thankful.
So thankful. Um, but I also, it might be important to think about like what were birthdays like for you growing up?
Yeah.
How was that time celebrated? And how is that maybe playing into the pressure that is on your birthday now? Also, this person also mentioned um, anxious, I haven't accomplished enough, or like I'm running out of time. And so it also might call for you to do some work about age and like your ideas about aging
Mm,
and what that means about you. And, you know, are you able only to accomplish something when you're young? Are you able only to make movement at a certain age? So I just think it brings up so many questions about these like internalized ideas about your birthday and aging and what you feel like it's supposed to look like, where you felt like you were supposed to be at this age, because those are all things that can be questioned.
yeah.
And for you to be able to take the time to question them, like, okay, I had this idea that, in my 30s, I would be married with kids and I'm not there. And what do I feel like that means about me? And where did that idea come from? And how can I start to question that? Do I actually want that for my life? Do I want something different? Is it calling for you to question what maybe you want to change or do differently or think about differently? Because it just seems like there's so much pressure on this day and on age in general.